You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious
about business.
Serious about business.
The patrons of the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Market Conference have gotten the opportunity to sit back a little and unwind as the annual networking session takes place. Business Access TV is here to bring you some of the highlights.
I just want to take this time out to introduce our managing director, Mrs. Street Forest, the lovely. She's going to come forward and give us just a few words on what has been happening, and of course to continue to, tell us that we need to enjoy ourselves tonight, because yes, we're talking business, we're talking about investment, we're talking about building a better nation, a better region, a better world. But Mrs. Street Forest, please come and grace the microphone. Thank you, ma'am. Looking lovely as usual. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Let me extend a warm welcome to you again at this function. I am really going to be very short, because what I want to really do is to thank you all for coming out. Thank you for supporting us for the last 14 years. There are persons here who are new to the event, some who have been with us for the last 14 years. I cannot stop by. I have to continue to thank our sponsors, our participants, and all the persons who have made this possible for us. As the evening wears on, I just want you to enjoy yourself, let your hair down, and ensure that we do what we need to do in terms of networking, meeting new people from all over the globe, and just enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Well, my name is Orlando Soto. I'm the CEO of Acobo Broker Dealer from Costa Rica. We're looking to list a mutual fund, real estate, in the Jamaican Stock Exchange. This is my first time at this event. I really congratulate you guys for the 15th anniversary, and also for the spirit that the event has over people, over companies that wanted to be listed on the exchange. And in general, to the CEO, she's wonderful. I think you have a gold mine in Jamaica, and for many years to come, and good progress to Jamaican companies.
So separate and apart from the Jamaican market being the best stock market in the world, what led you to thinking about listing in Jamaica?
Well, besides that, Jamaican broker dealers, good partnerships with them. They're good people, very sophisticated. I found very good partners. Very interesting market, not only because of the market, but also because of the people.
Which stock exchange is the best performing stock exchange for 2018?
Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Is she correct? Oh my goodness, you are correct. We have to thank every single member of the stock exchange because we could not do it without you. Thanks for being the best performing stock exchange in the world.
So how was 2018 for your business?
Well, 2018 for my business was good. We decided to come to Jamaica because Jamaica imports about $1 billion a year in produce to service their resort community. I live in Las Vegas. Las Vegas imports about $2 billion a year of produce from California and Mexico. So we decided to come down here and grow produce and service the resort community. The investment conference has been great. Met a lot of people that I already have known and then was able to meet some people that I hadn't known. So it's been very, very beneficial.
Is it your first year here?
No, I've lived between Montego Bay and Kingston for about 7 years and moved back to the States in 2004 and I'm back now.
So what can we expect from your business for 2019?
You can expect us to launch in 2019 and grow produce, supply resorts, and expand and continue to grow.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Dancers Philip good than another. If you fight that, me picking out a feather. Don't bad mind, my brother, when him a go the leather. Money man up, go get the cheddar. If you not like that, hold them there, hold them there, hold them there. Hold them there, pull it up.
How have you been enjoying this evening's proceedings?
God, it has been fabulous. I've been having some wonderful opportunities to network. Just congratulating Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest on the amazing job that she's been doing with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, how she's effectively led the team, you know, just pulling out the best out of the people that she has around her, and how she's been, you know, managed to keep the stock exchange on top, and just getting to know some other persons, some other players in the market, like Carlos from NASDAQ, and many other persons are here tonight.
So have you been at the conference overall?
Oh yes, I came here yesterday. I was here all day today, and tomorrow I'll be on. I'll be speaking in the afternoon, and I'll be here all day as well. It's a staple event for me. Like every year, I look forward to it. I mean, of the 14 years, I think I may have done 10 out of the 14 years. Yeah.
So you can basically say that this is certainly something that you have done in your calendar for every year.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. It has to be. Like, it's one of those events that get you started for the year. And, you know, you get to meet some of the people that you will need to help you to win all the plans that you have. So you identify all the persons who are there and say, yeah, you know what, let's partner, let's connect. So, yeah.
Do you have a business?
Oh, yes. So my original business is Pato Apparel, but I have formed out since then the Entrepreneurial You, which is a leadership and entrepreneurial brand. So we have a podcast, the Entrepreneurial You podcast, where I interview people like Seth Godin, Richard Branson, and so much more. And then there's LeaderCast, LeaderCast Kingston, LeaderCast Women, and LeaderCast Kingston is happening May 10 this year. So look out for it.
All right, so tell us, how have you been enjoying this evening's function?
It has been absolutely amazing. The vibe is nice, the food is good, and just to be at a function where it's rigorous, it's talking about figures all day, but just to let your hair down and just enjoy yourself and interact with the visitors from all over the world that's here to experience the stock exchange function this year.
Is it your first year here?
Yes, it's my first year, and I'm having a great time.
What brought you here?
Well, I wanted to see the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange because as an entrepreneur in the social enterprise space, it has been long anticipated and long thought for to see a social stock exchange. And I have friends like DEFCON and Alpha who were part of that, so I really wanted to see the launch.
Certainly a good opportunity for social projects to get funding, and funding an issue for social projects generally in Jamaica?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just wanted to note that in terms of the understanding of what social enterprise is, there has been a lacking because social enterprise, they don't only serve a social cause, but they're also enterprising, as the term says. So they make their own money, and when funds are invested in social enterprises, it's to make further social impact and to find other ways to be enterprising and make more money. So it's amazing that Jamaica has woken up and have smelled the coffee, because there are social stock exchanges in other parts of the world. And I think with this focus, then we can look at being number one more year. So just like 2015 and now 2018, and now we're looking at social value. So I think we have woken up, we have smelled the coffee, and the best is yet to come for the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Be sunshine when I look at you. Just a thing I can't explain. Just the things that you do. And if you get lonely, just call me and take a second to give to me that magic you make every day. Love me your own special way. Melt all my heart away with a smile. Take time to tell me you really care, and we'll share tomorrows forever. I'll always love you forever.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Okay, what year did the Jamaica Pegasus first host the conference? That is the investment conference. You tell me.
I'm going to go with 2010.
You are absolutely right. Please to take this box from my hand because it's so heavy. On a clapping.
Also with me is a good friend of mine, Kamario Davis. How are you, sir?
I am good. How's it going?
It's been going well for me, but how's it been going for you? You enjoying this evening's function?
I am. It's really good. You know, anything Jamaican is always enjoyable. I just said it's really enjoyable. I mean, really enjoy myself tonight.
What does Jamaica being the best stock market mean to you?
It means investment. It means more money in pocket for me. It means more money in pocket for the Jamaican people.
But as a young person though, do you think young people generally should be concerned about stocks and stock market performance, that kind of thing? Is that important?
In all honesty, I do think that they need to play a part in stock exchange because it is highly important as it relates to you creating a job for yourself. So generating income as a young person is very important. And so I think that young people really need to focus on the stock market to make some money.
Especially being that the youth unemployment rate is, though it's trending downward, it's still particularly high. So it's something that you think they should definitely look into, correct?
Most definitely, most definitely. We always want to venture into the traditional careers. We want to be doctors, lawyers, teachers, whatever that's all. But we need to start thinking about how to create employment for ourselves. Why not invest on the stock market? Why not invest into Walmart? Why not invest in Jamaica Boilers, Sagicor? Whatever it is that you feel you need to invest in, it's a really good opportunity, and I think young people of Jamaica need to start focusing there.
Hey, me say me love you like a free Wi-Fi. Me and you together like a pizza and rice. Without you, me can't sleep at night. Cause me fi be your husband, you fi be my wife. Why? Me say me love you like a free Wi-Fi. Me and you together like a pizza and rice. Why? Without you, me can't sleep at night. Promise you would I never leave my side. Me no need no password to get no access. Anytime you come around, instantly you connect like Wi-Fi pan. One of me gadget and you're full of energy like a Magnum tonic wine. Me fascinated by everything you do. Looking at me future, girl, let me see you too. To the altar, me ready figure bring you go. The ratings you're taller than a pinnacle.
So, Mrs. Street Forest, 14 years of celebration of knowledge exchange. How has it been for you this year?
It has been fantastic. You recognize that it has been really wonderful with the participants, the sponsors, and really those persons who have presented. We've had all the prime ministers of Barbados, prime ministers of Jamaica, past prime ministers, and they have given us quite a bit to think about. And what they have also given us is some amount of ingredients to go forward and do better. So I think that now we are poised to put in the necessary provisions in order to grow the capital market further than it is.
Historic launch this year, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Tell us about how the environment is feeling about that, how persons are reacting to that.
Persons are reacting positively to it. Persons who want to give have called. Persons who want to list projects have also called. It has been so positive. Persons have asked exactly what this is, and we are going to have to explain it and explain it again. But we have no problem with that because we know that the social stock exchange will contribute to the growth and development of the third sector, the social sector. And we know that this growth is going to be positive for the entire Jamaica.
So finally, what can we expect for the 15th staging?
Well, the 15th staging, we should really allow the 14th to be finished. But we know that the 15th staging each year, we get better and better. And the 15th staging, we want to embrace more of the region. We want to embrace more of the world. And definitely, as we do with each year, we say what has been achieved from the past. And naturally, for the 15th staging, we will want to report back to you to say, look, we have gained and garnered this amount of funds for the social exchange, and this is what it has done for Jamaica. So we want to report back to you the success that we have had for the 14th.
Certainly looking forward to it, and we hope that then Jamaica will still be the top stock exchange in the world. Thank you so much, Mrs. Street Forest.
You're most welcome.
We've come to the end of the 14th staging of the Regional Investment and Market Capital Conference's networking session. I'm Javon Keys for Business Access TV, serious about business. The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant, Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 100, 50 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process? Because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIF, that in 2 or 3 years the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons are coming with just proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canosol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
Did you know that the grand finals of the Jamaica Festival Song Competition will be held tomorrow at the Randy Williams Entertainment Center in Kingston? Yes, at 8 p.m. 11 finalists will compete for the coveted title of 2019 Jamaica Festival Song winner and millions of dollars in cash and prizes. You don't want to miss it. Hello there. Thanks for making it Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson, your host for the next half hour. Stay tuned for further information on this year's Jamaica 57 celebrations and more.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, July 26. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the next phase of the Housing Opportunity Production and Employment HOPE program is to be rolled out shortly. This will entail institutionalizing the employment and training aspects of the program.
I'm very satisfied and I'm very happy to see the program come to this point where we can now say we have tested it, it has worked, and we are now going to bring the program to the institutional phase where it will be a constant feature of the development of Jamaica.
The Prime Minister was speaking during the final stop of a tour of HOPE projects across the Covert area on Wednesday. He explained that in this next phase, HOPE would probably move from the office of the Prime Minister and be placed under an agency that can carry it more effectively. The Prime Minister added that the opportunities component was being developed and would be launched soon along with the production aspect.
We have already decided that for the production component, we're going to be focusing on getting young people into agriculture using technology.
The housing component, which was launched recently, will be provided at a later date. HOPE was launched by the Prime Minister in 2017 and targets persons aged 18 to 24 who are not employed or enrolled in a school or program of training. Through HOPE, approximately 24,000 young people have been impacted over the last 2 years and have now become ambassadors for the program. Currently, 6,000 youth are being trained under the initiative. 78 courtrooms are now able to facilitate digital audio technology, while 19 courtrooms can accommodate audiovisual devices. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the move is to secure witness statements in court trials. His message was delivered recently by Executive Director of the Legal Aid Council, Hugh Faulkner, at the opening of the two-day Witness Care Conference.
We at the Ministry of Justice stand ready to step up to the plate and play our part in ensuring that systems are in place to advance the role of witnesses in the justice process. With this technology, witness intimidation in the courtroom will be significantly reduced.
The provision of digital audio recordings in court proceedings falls under the Ministry's Justice Undertakings for Social Transformation, JUST project. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange, says government is moving expeditiously to have the Sexual Harassment Bill enacted. A joint select committee of Parliament has been named to review the legislation.
We will convene the joint select committee meetings and move expeditiously to sign off on the bill to ensure that we have this legislation in place which will address sexual harassment in the workplace, where accommodations are involved, landlord and tenant, and also in institutions.
Minister Grange says government is also looking at addressing the issue of sexual harassment in the tourism industry. The sexual harassment bill was tabled in the House of Representatives on July 9. It outlines the types of conduct that constitute sexual harassment and prohibits certain actions. Government's Public Investment Management Secretariat, PIMSEC, has given conditional approval for the renovation of the National Stadium and the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium. Sport Minister Olivia Grange says PIMSEC has also provided the funding to engage a consultant for the projects. The consultant is tasked to craft a business plan for the development and operation of both facilities.
I've informed this Honourable House that it was our intention to upgrade our aging National Stadium to make it more customer friendly and more compliant with international sports governing bodies. I also made mention of our intention to develop the Trelawney Stadium to the point where it could be placed at the centre of our sport tourism thrust.
Minister Grange was delivering her sectoral presentation in Parliament on Tuesday. She said the stadium projects were valued at approximately $40 million. Meanwhile, $163,785,000 have been spent to complete other sport infrastructure projects across the island. And finally, Jamaica 57 celebratory activities commence tomorrow with the grand finals of the Festival Song Competition. The Jamaica Festival Song Contest is slated for Randy Williams Entertainment Center in St. Andrew at 8 p.m. This year's competition has 11 finalists instead of the usual 10. The celebratory period includes other popular events such as the Miss Jamaica Festival Queen Grand Coronation, World Reggae Dance Championship, Mellow-Go-Round, Jamaica Gospel Song Grand Finals, Pop and Variety Grand Finals, and Grand Gala on Independence Day.
This year, the gala will serve as the start of our observation of the decade for people of African descent. Our special guest this year will be the President of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who will be here on a state visit. This year, we will also, at the gala, honor two of our celebrated entertainers. In the past, we have honored Jimmy Cliff, Damian Marley, and others. And this year, we will be honoring Rita Marley and Sizzla.
The Culture Minister has also revealed the fashion theme for this year's celebrations.
Fashion theme this year is roots and culture, meaning that with the diversity in our culture, whatever is your roots, you can wear your sari, you can wear your African wear, you can wear whatever you identify with as your roots and your culture.
All the Jamaica 57 activities will be celebrated under the theme, One Nation, One People. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
What can a little germs do?
Pink eye running belly even flu. Germs can make them happen to you.
Put germs on our manners with these. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Always wash your hand with water and soap. Keep dirty hands from your eyes and your nose and your mouth. You don't want to be sick, take care. Practice every day, no germs on here. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Have you ever heard about the Get on the Bike program? This initiative, which was launched in collaboration with Government Citizen Security and Justice Program, seeks to equip young adults with the knowledge and empowerment they need to achieve their career goals and objectives. Here's more.
Well, Get on the Bike is the title of a book that I have written, and the purpose of the book was to help persons not only to dream, but to dream big. Sometimes we have a goal in life, and instead of pursuing it, we say, I'm not educated enough, I'm not bright enough, I'm not experienced enough. So Get on the Bike is a metaphor to say whatever you want to achieve in life, you can do it. Go for it.
Yes, Marsha's Get on the Bike initiative was launched in 2019 to empower and engage teenagers and young adults in various schools, churches, inner city communities, and rural areas across Jamaica.
For schools, I reach out to the guidance counselors and ask if they have a group they would want me to speak with. I work closely in my own church community. I attend the Templar Mennonite Church, so during Sunday school, sometimes I will talk to the youth department or the young adults. I engage them in that way. And then for community outreach, I'm in touch with some social workers, persons who are already in the field, and I make linkages through that way.
The program is being executed in collaboration with Government Citizen Security and Justice Program. It provides teenagers and young adults with the knowledge and motivation they need to achieve their individual goals and dreams.
It can be dreams in terms of a better family life. It could be dreams in terms of acquiring a job. It could be dreams in starting a business. So we provide the strategy or the roadmap for persons to realize their dreams.
Some of the youngsters who have recently benefited from the program are a group of students from the Operation Friendship Skills Training Institute in Kingston.
Today, what we want to talk about is workplace readiness. Let me see the hands of those who have actually worked already. Have you been in the workforce already? A few of us have been in the workplace already. Well, this program is going to teach us what are the things we need to do to prepare for the world of work. One of the best means of getting a job is what? Word of mouth. If somebody doesn't know that we are seeking a job, nobody can help us. So if we are seeking a job, one of the first things we ought to do is to let somebody know. After we have done that, we want to develop what we call our resume or our CV. It's very easy, very easy. Start at the top with our name, then we go to our address, then the telephone number, then our qualification or experience, whichever is stronger. What are some of the questions they are going to ask us in the interview? Why do you need a job? Yes. Where you have worked before? Certainly.
During these free interactive sessions, Marsha even gives advice on how to tackle some of the most intimidating interview questions.
Some persons get a little timid when somebody asks, so what is your weakest area? Sometimes they ask that in the interview. The best answer for that is something that is not too outrageous, but something that we have worked on and we have improved and we are now professional in that area.
I think the session has a great impact on us as students because not every student is aware of how to operate within the work field and know what to do and where and when, how to go about doing it. Coming here, showing us the steps and what to do from what not to, like having our name, the address, work experience, our qualifications and the information about us, that will help us to know what to do in able to get our work.
But preparing students for the world of work is just one of the focus areas of the Get on the Bike program. During a recent weekend visit to the Ocho Rios Mennonite Church in St. Anne, participants of the program were briefed about another important lesson, SWOT.
Let's start from the top. So strengths. Strengths are the things that we are very good at. Strengths could be good interpersonal skills, good team building skills. It could be a fantastic smile. Weaknesses. Weaknesses, these are things that we are not so good at. So the weakness could be we have poor time management skills. We are not organized, always late. Things like that would be considered a weakness. Things that we need to improve on. The O stands for opportunity. This is something external to us. So in our area, are there hotels being open, other areas of employment? That would be seen as an opportunity. The threat would be like similar to the weakness, but it's external. We can't do anything about it right away. Perhaps a threat would be poor transportation service within my area. Why do we do this? We do it so that we are more in tune with what we can accomplish. Not only that, we are more open to changes, and when changes come, we are not flustered.
Good session, and it's very informative. Doesn't matter the age group or where you are in your career goal right now.
I recently graduated from high school, and it is a great opportunity for me because I'm job hunting.
And there's just one more question I know you might be asking. Why the title Get on the Bike?
A bike to me represents freedom, it represents creativity, some amount of skill, and always going forward.
And there you have it. For more information on how you can get on the bike, email Marsha Norman at marshanorman2017@gmail.com.
Similar to the Get on the Bike initiative, there is a government program that is doing wonders for unattached youth. Learn more about the Housing Opportunity Production and Employment HOPE program next.
Growing up, I didn't have no parent, nowhere to go. I was just stranded. I started to live in Crossroads because I didn't have nowhere else to go. So what I would do when I'm at Crossroads, I would stay in Mothers by day, and by night I would get a piece of cardboard and sleep at the bus stop beside of Mothers in Crossroads. I will walk and beg, or I will stay in Mothers for the whole day, begging passbys or so forth, till I find myself again money now. So I'd always have a phone, so I use that money that I get, buy credit, put on the phone and put on service, data, and find out about all of the ministries and so forth. And I will sit there and call the different ministries, from the Chief of Defense Staff Office to the Minister of Education, the Prime Minister's Office, all of those. So I keep on calling and keep on calling till I call the Prime Minister's Office again, and as secretary, I talk to her till I tell myself, say, I can't take it no more. I start crying, I tell the lady, say, Miss, please just help me. Please, I beg you, help me. And the lady say, young man, I will guarantee you that I will help you. So don't worry yourself. She called me back like an hour after or so forth, and she said to me that I got to a person that I think will most likely help you in your situation, which his name is Mr. Martin Rittman. He is the head coordinator of the HOPE program. An hour after, Mr. Rittman called me, and he introduced himself, and I introduced myself, and I tell him my story all over again. He told me that he can help me out with something to do, a skill and a job or so I can gain some form of income, so I could buy hygiene products and clothes and so forth. So he directed me to the Art and Ripon Road, where he told me to bring all relevant documents like ID, TRN and so forth to that place on Ripon Road, and speak to the secretary and tell her that Martin Rittman, the head coordinator of the HOPE program, sent me here. He told me that I should go to a school that's on South Camp, UWI Open campus. I went for 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, I spent at UWI Open campus at South Camp Road. I then moved on to a government agency for work. I started off processing in the computer all documents that come in. I will be the one who to lodge it in the computer and send it off to the different departments. But now I'm a customer service rep at the moment, because my supervisor told me that my talent is wasted where I'm at right now. I don't do much more than lodge the documents in the system and so forth. So she gave me more hands-on training that would more fit my criteria.
I think it is a good motivator in the sense that, it gives him some purpose of living, coming, doing something, knowing that he's responsible for something that is such a vital aspect of our daily activities. He dresses well, always on time, and he takes pride in whatever, what is assigned to him, meaning he works really hard, and whenever he's not here, they miss him.
This particular day now, I think it's the following week, after Martin Rittman helped me out with the HOPE program and so forth. I saw a lady Just a random lady, I was begging and so forth. And the lady see me and she started to talk to me and ask me, why am I here and so forth. So I told her and I spoke with her and she take me into Mother's, she buy me a patty and a juice. And we were talking, just talking and talking. And then she asked me, do I want to come to stay with her? With a glad face, I accepted and said, yes, I would love to come home with you. When she took me in, it's like, you know, I was very welcome because just looking, I had a bed to sleep in that used to be a cardboard. I had food to eat that used to be me begging on the street just to make ends meet, just to eat a little patty or something. I had dumpling, she gave me all type of food that I longed to eat from a longer while.
You know the reason why I do it? God himself provide for me. That's me can feed myself, feed him, feed my 2 grandchildren then. Helping him is not a problem. Helping somebody when they are in need is the greatest thing for me.
I can put my life like the Titanic, if you ever seen that movie. It's like, you know, when the ship was sinking, there's a lot of persons like, them don't know what to do. Some people just jump off in the water because them can't. But I was there and like, the ship has sink and it's like, I tell myself, say, you know what, I'm not going to make this ship sink with me now. So I decided to just jump off. So when you jump off now, I decide say, you know what, I'm not give up, I'm not just drown so, I'm not just go down so. So I tell myself, say, you know what, I'm go swim. Till I see a light, and that light was Martin Rickman, who shine a lot of other lights for me to a lot of different islands, a lot of different places.
Do you feel you have a purpose in life but just need help finding it? You're probably not alone. And like many before and after you, a bit of motivation at the right time can make all the difference. Listen as Dr. Wayne Henry from the Planning Institute of Jamaica shares valuable information you need to hear.
Develop a sense of purpose that says you're not here by accident. You are here for greatness. You are here with destiny in mind. You are supposed to do something great, and you are on that pathway. There are persons who are in the departure lounge of life, at the end of their life, and they look back and they have regret because they never took time to uncover and develop a sense of purpose. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do before I leave this 7 billion people planet called Earth? What am I supposed to accomplish? Having a sense of greatness that's in you. You're talented, you have gifts and abilities. Some of you are good with numbers, some of you are good with words, some of you are good with both, some of you are artistic, creative, some of you are sports oriented, and there are many things. And you take time to discover what are you passionate about. What can I just do naturally? I can jump out of my sleep and do it easily. Speaking now to your talents and abilities, your giftings. All of these come into your sense of purpose. The things that you are to do in life as you are to impact people. When you dream, when you close your eyes, what do you see yourself doing? And knowing that the sky is the limit. Second thing I want to say quickly is that you must learn to persevere. I heard Marquis speak about perseverance. Everybody say perseverance. Sometimes we don't achieve much because we give up too easily. You have to learn, if you want good, your nose have to. Yes, man, you have to get your feelings hurt and still go on. When I was doing my PhD, boy, a man tell me, man, people seem to like you. Wayne, why don't you just leave this program and go back to your country? You have a master's. The PhD is not for you. Why don't go and make money? And that was a racist comment because I was black. I was the only black person in the program. And he was saying things that hurt me, and I didn't want him to see me offended. I left his presence, went into my room, and I cried. But I decided to continue in my effort for excellence. Are you hearing me? And so perseverance means to continue a course of action in spite of difficulty, in spite of opposition. When they fight you down, when bad mind reach you, and they're fighting you down, and they say you're not the right gender, young ladies, and they say you don't deserve to be here, don't pay no attention, press on nonetheless. And it means you also have to have the right people around you. Be careful of the company you keep. As you go through life, you're going to make mistakes. As you go through life, you may fail at something. You want people around you who can encourage you to get up again.
Jamaica 57 is just around the corner, and as customary, there are a host of activities for every Tom, Dick and Harry to enjoy. So listen up. Following the grand finals of the Jamaica Festival Song Competition at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center tomorrow, there will be a National Independence Church service on Sunday, July 28 at the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center at 104 Waltham Park Road, Kingston 11. The Emancipation Jubilee is slated for July 31 at Seville in St. Anne. The National Arena will host the Miss Jamaica Festival Queen Grand Coronation on Emancipation Day, August 1. The World Reggae Dance Championship Grand Final on August 2. Mellow Go Round on August 3. The Jamaica Gospel Song Grand Final on August 4. And the Pop and Variety Grand Final on August 5. Grand Gala will be held on Independence Day, August 6, inside the National Stadium. We have a lot to celebrate as a nation. So let's come on out and support all these Jamaica 57 celebratory activities that have and continue to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
From a Jamaican era then. We heroes fight very hard, them have to fight with the hard and abroad. Hero them fight very hard, so we can enjoy with hard. The heroes fight very hard, them have to fight with the hard and abroad. Hero them fight very hard, so we can enjoy with hard. Whoa, this a sweet, sweet Jamaica land. I don't know so the 6-0 come from. Not to mention the heroin one. You check Poland when Annie come from. You want to know about Paul Bogle? You go online and start to Google. Cause St. Thomas that a fi me ballad. Alright, that's where Paul Bogle come from. Cause them fight very hard. Them have to fight with the hard and abroad. Hero them fight very hard, so we can enjoy we hard. Hero them fight very hard. Them have to fight with the hard and abroad. Hero them fight very hard, so we can enjoy we hard. Whoa, equal rights all we fear. Who said that no Marcus Garvey? I wish one never beg no pardon. The same one George William Garden. Cause me a sing me feel it from the heart. When me remember Mobile where they make some sharp. Spanish told me go lick me auntie. She said don't tell me issue go bust a manty. Say them fight very hard. Them have to fight with the hard and abroad. Hero them fight very hard, so we can enjoy.
And this is the final stop in today's magazine. Thanks for journeying with us. To watch today's program, again, simply visit our website, jis.gov.jm. And don't forget that you are able to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Have yourselves a great weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
An ultra-efficient home should be at the top of everyone's priority list, whether you're thinking about home ownership or home renovation. In order to accomplish this feat, you'll have to take several things into consideration. And on this episode of Home Sweet Home, we'll be talking about making your piece of paradise more environmentally friendly by talking about energy conservation and water conservation. So stay with us more after this. Jamaica is known as the land of wood and water, but a fickle economy and climate change might have you thinking about water conservation and water harvesting. With me today to talk about water conservation is Leanne Spence from Instant Save. Welcome, Leanne.
Thank you, Candy. Happy to be here.
Now tell us about the company Instant Save.
Okay, so Instant Save, what we really do is to help people understand the value of water. So we work with homeowners and business owners, schools and hotels to identify opportunities on their property to reduce their water use and of course save on their utility expenses.
Now when you say reduce on their water use, that is water conservation.
That is water
correct?
Conservation.
Now what are the ways that we can save water?
So there are so many ways to save water. Mainly when you talk about saving water, you want to put it in two categories. You want to talk about the efficiency of saving water and the conservation. Conservation really has to do with your behavior. What can I do as an individual, as a business owner, to adjust my behavior to save water? So this may be stuff like turning off taps, turning off garden hoses, things like that, to not allow water to waste. Efficiency, and that's where my company focuses on, is using tools and technologies, implementing them without having to change much behavior and still achieving that reduction in water use.
So are there tools to do this, devices to do this? What are some of the actual ways that you use to conserve the water?
Okay, so when you talk about the water efficiency, again, we can look at indoor water use and outdoor water use. So for homeowners, in terms of its outdoor water use, you look at like washing cars and watering your lawn, of which you can do practices like rainwater harvesting and recycling to achieve those things. Indoor, again, where we look at, we say that 70% of the water that's actually used indoor is used in your bathroom. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
So it's used by your toilets, your faucets, and your shower heads. And what we do is we supply products that helps to reduce the consumption of those fixtures by an average 50%.
Okay, now how easy is it to implement these things?
It's very easy. For rainwater harvesting, it's a little more involved. Of course, with rainwater harvesting, you're collecting rain that falls on your roof, right? And you can install gutters and downspouts, collect it in a tank. Of course, some amount of filtration would need to be done, and you can use that water to actually water your lawn. So that's very, very easy. On the other hand, with the technologies, they are available. They're available from us. Simply adding little aerators, modifying your existing toilet tank, and changing your shower heads can help you achieve these savings.
Now, energy conservation can be a big undertaking financially. Is it the same with water conservation?
So water conservation is not as a significant financial outlay, and the paybacks are a lot sooner. But of course, conservation on a whole is important, and saving water is saving energy as well, because the cost of water includes pumping, treating, all of those things. So when you think about the investment in water efficient devices, the payback is extremely short and you're covering investment very quickly.
And as you speak about the paybacks, what can we expect to save when we practice water conservation methods?
Okay, so in terms of the water efficiency side, when you're changing out the technologies, as mentioned, if you can install a water-saving shower head, uses less than 2 gallons of water, a water-efficient toilet, and pair it with a water-saving faucet, you can actually achieve a 50% reduction in your water consumption for your restroom.
Okay, so talk to us or explain a little bit more about water harvesting. What is that, and does it differ from water conservation?
No, so rainwater harvesting is water conservation because it is a way to conserve water, or simply use water that is available to us, thereby not having to use from another supply method. So in terms of rainwater harvesting, as mentioned before, when you install the tools like the gutter and the downspout and you have to collect it in a tank, that is just one means. So rainwater harvesting is a more involved process. With new construction, it's actually best to, once you're breaking ground, to install the pipes and fittings to allow for the collection of water, and thereby the piping for the water into your restrooms, into your kitchen. That's the best way. But if you're an existing homeowner and you have to still want to upgrade your fixtures to do that, then you'd have to buy all the different materials, do a little digging, and get to those pipes to afford you to have that option. So it's a little more involved, but it's very possible.
Right, and definitely good with the savings, I would imagine.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, you spoke about harvesting rainwater. How do we make sure that this water is potable, that it's safe for drinking and consumption?
When you collect water from your roof, obviously there'll be debris on your roof, so you have to have a filter there to collect any debris on the surface. When it gets into your tank, you want to ensure to have a strainer or a net over the water to ensure that mosquitoes are not attracted and it turns into a breeding ground. If it is that you want to use this water to irrigate your plants, you're good to go for that purpose. If it is that you want to use the water to now channel it back into your home, then you may have to go through further filtration processes.
Leanne, what would be your tips for home efficiency?
So the first thing you want to ensure, Candy, is that you check for leaks. Leaks can be a big problem in homes, and it can actually cause spikes in your water bills. So the easy way to do that is to just shut off all the fixtures in your home that are using water. Go to your water meter, wait a few minutes, and then check to ensure that there's no moving. If there is movement, that means that water is passing through the system. Next thing is, don't use your toilet as a trash can.
Okay, yes, a lot of people tend to throw things in there and just flush them, right?
And just flush them in, right. The next one is, of course, one of the things that we pioneer is to get technologies that are efficient and that will give you the savings that you need. So whether it's be changing your toilet completely, we have the Stealth Ultra Efficient Toilet, uses less than 1 gallon, actually uses 0.8 gallons of water per flush, so that's significant savings, as well as water saving aerators on your bathroom and kitchen faucets. As I mentioned, you can achieve up to 50% reduction in your water supply or your water use there. And changing your shower heads, you'd be surprised. It's very, very easy to implement, short paybacks, and you'll save money at the end of the month.
And in the long run as well.
And in the long run.
Well, Leanne, thank you so much for joining us and explaining to us why water conservation is so important. Coming up after the break, we'll be talking to Volton Campbell from JPS.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round-view monitor, and Hill Start Assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Hi, Volton.
Hi, how are you?
Candy, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So today we're going to be talking about JPS, their role in energy conservation and what we, the consumer, can do to be more energy efficient. So let's get started. Joining us now is Volton Campbell from JPS. He is the Senior Energy Management Engineer there, and he's going to be talking to us about energy efficiency. Welcome, Volton.
Hello, Candy. How are you?
I'm very well.
Wonderful.
So, Volton, I'd like to talk about reducing our carbon footprint. What can we, the consumers, do, and what's the role of JPS in that?
Well, let me start by saying that we're all concerned about the environment in terms of rising sea levels and increased temperatures. Right. What we can do as consumers is to reduce our energy consumption, which reduces emissions by power plants, and we, JPS, by going into renewables, we can also reduce emissions. And with reduced emissions, we reduce the impact on the ozone layer and the temperatures and the rising of sea levels.
Okay. How would you describe an energy smart home?
I'll give you a general description. In an energy smart home, you would try to use energy efficient equipment, and you can use devices that can control equipment, and you can use like energy management systems And in general terms, that is what you would call an energy efficient home.
What are some of the ways that we can use energy efficiently in our homes? I mean, I think we already know some of the ways, turn off the lights, things like that. Can you give us some other examples?
We can turn off the lights using smart technology.
Right.
We can use, for example, occupancy sensors, that when you step into a room, it turns on the light, and when you step out, it turns it off. But apart from that, we can use efficient equipment.
Now let's talk a little about energy-saving devices or appliances. What advice do you have for consumers who are buying these things?
Personally, I start by doing some research.
Right.
Because typically there are improvements in terms of technology with a lot of these devices. So you can search online before you actually make a purchase. But in case you're in a store and you want to make a comparison or make a purchase, for refrigerators, for example, they tend to have a sticker that indicates that they're Energy Star compliant. And they tend to have like an indicator as to where they fall in terms of energy efficiency compared to a typical product. So that can actually guide you if you're looking at two refrigerators. There are air conditioners that are called inverters,
right,
that are the most efficient on the market. They can reduce the consumption, general consumption of air conditioners by around 30%. There's a factor called an energy efficiency ratio, which speaks to the efficiency of the air conditioner. And this factor should be as high as possible, meaning if you're buying an air conditioner with an EER of 9, if you're to buy one that is 10 or 11 or 12, the efficiency is better or it's more efficient. So the higher the EER, the more efficient the air conditioner. With other products, I would suggest that you do some research, get the model number and research online.
Do these appliances or devices actually make a difference though?
They do, and I'll give you one example. I remember this customer some time ago. He purchased an inverter refrigerator, and what he said is that when he purchased the refrigerator, the next month, his bill was cut by half.
Wow.
So they have a significant impact, but you need to focus on the right things, meaning a refrigerator can have a significant impact on your consumption, but one light bulb,
right,
maybe not. Or an air conditioner,
yes,
maybe yes. And a phone charger, I doubt it very much. Okay. Right?
What are some of the products that JPS has to assist with the energy efficiency or energy reduction?
Okay, in our e-store here at Ruthven Road, we have a number of products that you can use to reduce your energy consumption by controlling equipment. For example, we have timers that you can use with refrigerators, you can use them with fans, you can use them with any plug-in device.
But hold on, when you say refrigerator now, why would I want my refrigerator to not have any energy
to not operate? Under normal circumstances, your refrigerator operates, then it turns off, and it operates and it turns off. Normal cycle.
Right.
Now, at nights, if you were to, for example, increase the turn-off time of your refrigerator when it's not being used, for example, between, let's say, 1 at night until 4 in the morning, the products would more likely remain frozen simply because you're not entering the refrigerator. And what you would have done is reduce the run time of your refrigerator by around 4 hours. And that results in energy consumption reduction, similar like turning off your lights. Apart from timers that you can use, as I said, on your refrigerators, we sell LED lights and we sell occupancy sensors. The ones that, as I said before, you step in and it turns on the light, and when you step out after a while, it turns off the light.
I'm not as versed on this as I would like to be, but I know nowadays there is solar powered this and there is wind powered that. Are those products that you guys offer at JPS?
At JPS, we sell solar water heaters, and we sell photovoltaic systems. The difference being solar water heaters, that is heating water using the sun, and the photovoltaic systems, which produce electricity using the sun.
How would you recommend homeowners go about introducing energy-saving technology into their homes?
Let me start by saying that energy-efficient devices are typically more expensive than your normal devices. So expect to spend a little more in that respect. So incrementally, you can introduce devices in your home. You can start with the lights, going to LED lights. Not everywhere, but in areas that you use for more than 3 hours per day. You can introduce timers for lights or timers for your refrigerator. So we're starting small and not with a lot of financial outlay. Then you can move to your refrigerator. If it is that your refrigerator is, let's say 7, 10, 15, 20 years old, then what I would suggest is that you consider replacing it with a more efficient and modern refrigerator whose consumption could be half of what an old refrigerator is. You can replace an electric water heater with a solar water heater, or you can use a timer to control the water heater, and that itself can reduce the consumption of the water heater. In addition to that, you can buy a washing machine that is efficient. The best way to describe it are the ones that you put the clothes at the front as opposed to at the top. Right. Those are more efficient than your typical washer. In terms of dryer, electric dryer, you can use the sun.
You can hang your clothes on the line.
Right. Or you can use a gas dryer. So incrementally, you can introduce devices in your house, and over time, you'll see the benefits in terms of, one, the electricity bill that you pay, and it allows you to save and allow you to maybe go on a cruise.
Coming up, we'll be talking about how to read your JPS bill and how to make your home more energy smart. Stay with us.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Reading the meter or even reading your electricity bill at the end of a month can be a little difficult for people. How can you guide us through this?
When you apply for a service to JPS, we give you a meter that says 00000, no consumption.
Right.
However, when you start using appliances, it increments and the number changes from 0 to 1 to 3 to 4 to whatever it is, right? And that's an indication of the energy you would have used over the period. Now, to read your meter, similar to what we do, it's a good idea to, at the beginning of the month, you write out the number you see on the face. We have electronic meters now, so it shows the readings in numbers, right? And at the end of the month, you do a similar reading. And then what you would do is subtract the first reading from this second reading and indicate the consumption over the period. But even more than that, what we kind of suggest is that every day you read your meter at the same time. For example, when you're leaving in the morning at 6 or 7 o'clock, you read the meter. And the same time every day you read the meter. What that allows you to do is to track what you're doing every day, and when there's a spike in the consumption, you can check back as to what could have caused it and correct it before the end of the month when you have to pay that
bill.
Right.
Okay, reading the bill now.
Okay, what we do, or what we have on the bill is a bar chart to the left that kind of show your consumption per month. People don't pay attention to that, but it's important. It indicates over time what your consumption is, and if there's any variation, increase or decrease, it is for you to try to investigate what that is. But apart from that, that shows the trending of your consumption. You can pay attention to certain components of your bill. For example, people don't realize this, but the largest cost item on your bill or charge is fuel, what we call the fuel and IPP charge. And right now we're getting a break in the sense that the cost of oil has gone down, so therefore the fuel component of your bill has gone down. I'm sure you've noticed that, right?
Oh, yes.
Right, wonderful. So the extent to which that remains low, it is good for us. But when it starts to increase, and so will your bill, and that has nothing to do with JPS at all.
Okay.
And another thing to pay attention to is when your meter is read every month. Because sometimes when you see an increase in your bill, in terms of the money amount, it can be because the amount of days you're billed for are longer than usual, meaning as opposed to being billed for like 30 days, you might be billed for either 31 or 32 days, and you notice that spike. But it would save you having to call us and inquire if you look at the days, amount of days you're billed for, sometimes when you see an increase in your bill.
Talk to us about the pay-as-you-go system and also the energy auditing that you guys do.
We offer a new product, a new option to customers, residential and small commercial, which are really rate 20, in terms of getting their supply from JPS. Under normal circumstances, you'll apply for service to JPS. We come in, we put in our meter, and you get a bill every month.
Right.
Now we have another option called the pay-as-you-go. Similar to when you buy credit for your phone. You can buy credit, electricity credit.
Okay.
That can last for whatever period you want. So therefore you can go to a Bill Express location that is working with us. You can buy your credit, put it on your meter, and you can manage your consumption over time. In fact, what we found is that people who use this option, their consumption reduces by around 35%.
Oh, wow.
And the beauty about it is that you have a lot of places you can top up your credit, and you can see your consumption day by day. You can manage your consumption. You have an option where if it is you run out of credit, you can call the call center and they can top you up until you can get a chance to go and refill your credit. So it's a nice, flexible and convenient service.
Energy credit, I didn't know that existed.
Well, it does. We're on the cutting edge. Regarding energy audit, it's a service that we offer to our customers where persons are interested in understanding what's happening at their location, residential or commercial. They can contact us and we can give them a proposal as to what it would cost to do an assessment at their facility, which includes measurements, analysis, and give recommendations in terms of what you can do to control your energy consumption and your costs.
What are the immediate costs associated with making the switch to a more energy efficient home?
Well, first of all, it will cost you a little bit more. For example, if it is you're buying an air conditioner, a standard air conditioner, and you were to buy a more efficient air conditioner, you would pay maybe something like 10 to 50, maybe 20% more than what you would pay for a standard device. So you'll pay a bit more, but you'll recoup it over time.
Exactly. And I mean, as you say that, I want to talk more about the long-term benefits of making that investment.
The long-term benefit is saving our environment.
Definitely.
But in terms of you, it is more money in your pocket that you can use to do whatever you want, whether invest or whatever it is. But it is worth it, and we at JPS, we kind of encourage it. How do we benefit? To the extent that you are happy in your environment and you can afford to pay your bill. And we can install the plants to serve you, because let's not fool ourselves. We are to install a power plant is expensive. Right. And the more you use electricity is the more plants we need to build. So if it is that you can conserve and reduce your demand from us, then it's less investment on our side, and overall the price of electricity will go down.
Volton, thank you so much for joining us on Home Sweet Home today and for sharing your wealth of knowledge on energy efficiency.
It was a pleasure for me to be here to share information that I'm sure will be helpful to you and your viewers.
Absolutely, thank you very much. we've come to the end of another episode of Home Sweet Home, where we looked at some of the ways to make your home more energy efficient. Until next time, I'm Candy. Take care. Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment, and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Crime, corruption, and criminal justice. AmCham, the American Chamber of Commerce, is shining a light on these topics here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in a luncheon that's looking at how these affect Jamaica's trade and investment potential. I'm Elon Parkinson. Let's take a look at the highlights.
One of the things that I realize is that having these forums, it provides us with an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. And all members should give your organization a round of applause. Put your hands together for it. For weeks, I was talking about business unusual. For weeks, that was the last one on the economy that you guys had. And I was in cocktail conversation sounding smarter than I am just by virtue of having been in the room. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. I'm going to apologize for the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang. He did intend to be here, but he was called at the last minute to Parliament. I believe he has a parliamentary committee that he must be at, so they've summoned him. The numbers are important in these committees to make quorum and to participate in discussions at Gordon House, so he won't be with us today. The DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, is here. Thank you very much for being here with us today, as is Dirk Harrison, the acting head of the Corruption Prosecution Division at the Integrity Commission. Always glad to have Professor Anthony Clayton, a respected criminologist, here with us today. Jason Fraser is the country rep of the USAID. Thank you very much, and looking forward to hearing their presentations later today. At this time, I'm going to invite Alison Peart, the president of AmCham of Jamaica, to give the official welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. You know, we look so officious and so quiet. It's very, very important business, but I'm hoping today you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to leave here understanding more about some of the issues and, more importantly, with some solutions. Because it's one thing to speak about our issues, but if we don't find a solution, we're just a talk shop. And I love Nationwide on the radio, but we don't just want to talk. We want to come up with some solutions. So as the president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Jamaica, we thought it very important. We talk about how wonderful the economy was. Our last session was business unusual. But if we have crime issues, if people don't feel, Jamaicans don't feel comfortable going about their daily lives, if our foreign investors don't feel comfortable, if our children, who are our future, have issues, where are we as a nation? So we thought it very important to bring together a panel that would engage in the dialogue about crime, corruption, criminal justice. How does it affect our trade and investment? Because it makes no sense to talk about our GDP growing or our debt to GDP if we're dying. It makes no sense if our future is tied to crime. So this dialogue is very, 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 very important, and I am very happy you're here with us.
Okay, the question today is how much crime and corruption and a dysfunctional justice system are actually inhibiting the development of Jamaica and inward investment. Because we don't just have one problem, we have quite a complex array of problems. And it's quite hard to know how much we should attribute to any one of these and how much any one of these is contributing to what has historically been a very low rate of growth and significant difficulties in attracting inward investment and retaining domestic capital and retaining human capital. These are the headline ones. We have one of the highest rates of violence in the world. We have a large number, a significant number of gangs. About 80% of our homicide are gang-related. The rest are primarily domestic violence. So the fact that we have a large number of gangs is clearly a major factor in maintaining one of the world's highest levels of homicide. There are fundamental challenges still in our system of governance. As I'll be going on to say in a few minutes, we have people in public life who help to create this problem with gangs and high levels of violence, and that link has never been yet severed, and that is still a challenge that we have yet to face. What, of course, that does is it undermines the moral authority of government. If you have a situation where all the bad guys are out there and everybody in government is honest and competent, it's not really very difficult to deal with the problems of crime. The problem is when the boundaries between the two are blurred and when you have criminals who are getting high-level political protection. At that point, it's much, much harder to deal with the issues. Of course, what that feeds is a culture of cynicism, low trust, and that has a great deal to do with sustaining a high level of violence. In any country where you see that people do not trust the police and do not trust the justice system, they're much more likely to have recourse to violence to solve their issues and disputes. So it's partly reflecting the fact that we've still got deep weaknesses in our system of governance. But let's put this in a little context. There's only one demographic for whom violence is the leading cause of premature morbidity, which is young males, late teens, early 20s. For every other demographic, it's actually cheeseburgers that are more likely to kill you. We've got issues with, like every other country, with steeply rising rates of non-communicable diseases, and we can't also forget the fact that we have perennial challenges with energy security, increasingly with water security, which is related, because years ago we made the decision that everybody must be on a piped water supply, which means that we're now committed to a program of pumping water up hillsides, which means that if our energy system goes down, our water system goes down too. In hindsight, perhaps that wasn't a very good decision. So we've got issues with energy, water security, and more generally food and access to resources. We live in a seismically active part of the world. We live in the hurricane belt. There's challenges with emerging exotic diseases, and of course we've got a background issue really serious now, as people have started to realize, with climate change. You may have heard that this summer is the hottest ever recorded in Jamaica's history. And in fact, there's now real grounds for concern that we've gone past an irrevocable point, and that we will not ever revert back to the low temperatures of the past. So this is something that we may now have to make a permanent adjustment to.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
One of our highest priorities of the U.S. government in Jamaica is to work with our counterparts to interdict Jamaican and Caribbean-based transnational criminal activity, including narcotics and arms trafficking, trafficking in persons, and financial fraud targeting U.S. citizens. The U.S. government has also invested heavily in supporting anti-corruption initiatives with the civil society and Jamaican government, as well as supported improvements in the justice system. In total, the U.S. government invests about $12 million in security-related programming annually, which does not include all the various partnerships and collaborations that our various U.S. government agencies have with their counterparts. In fact, USAID Jamaica just advertised a broad agency announcement to co-design our flagship community violence prevention activity with key stakeholders such as the government, academia, and private sector. This unique co-creation approach encourages key stakeholders to co-create and deliver the services that are vital to prevent youth crime and violence at the community level. Law enforcement and criminal justice are important to controlling crime, as we all know, and corruption. But we also have to address the underlying social challenges that both cause and contribute to crime. Within the broad range of U.S. cooperation on crime, and this is where USAID comes in, we partner with the government and civil society on a range of programs to address the root causes of crime in Jamaica. So in the area of community safety and security, and building upon past successes with community-based policing, USAID focuses on the strengthening of community-based and civil society organizations, the promotion of community-driven activities, the development of long-term champions of a culture of lawfulness, and the enhancement of ministries, departments, and agencies of the state to be more community-oriented institutions. In this way, we believe that we contribute to building safer communities, strengthening social cohesion, and improving civic engagement participation. USAID also works with holistic youth-friendly approaches that aims to assist at-risk youth in becoming active citizens through the engagement of different social, educational, behavioral, and recreational activities. This approach includes 3 main areas regarding youth involved in criminality: prevention, intervention, and rehabilitation, including diversion activities as alternatives to traditional incarceration for first-time offenders. Youth also develop skills through educational programs which introduce them to fundamental concepts in business, economics, individual accountability, and entrepreneurship. USAID expects that life skills and technical training will increase opportunities for at-risk youth to work within the legitimate economy, thereby reducing the likelihood of involvement in gang and criminal activity. In Jamaica, relationships with key public sector, private sector, and donor agency partners are being leveraged to create programs to build skills and to identify work options for youth. USAID also works in the youth remandee centers, which includes case management follow-up to facilitate at-risk youth acquiring job and education opportunities when they are released. In the area of corruption, the Combating Corruption in Jamaica project has not only built public demand for more effective action against corruption through awareness campaigns, but has also provided training to government and civil society partners to build capacity and increase advocacy. The project is expected to have an impact on the nation's capacity and the ability to effectively control instances of and attitudes towards corruption in general and political corruption in particular. So what's the role of the private sector in addressing the root causes? That's why we're all here today. Many of you are representing private sector organizations. How can the private sector be a key partner in addressing some of these root causes? Obviously, many of you are part of the community, and so you have an interest. Your companies are often affected by the high rates of crime and corruption. So it's important that government, international partners who support government, NGOs, and the private sector work together to address these issues. We've all been to various forums on issues surrounding crime in Jamaica. I think the private sector here needs to continue to ask itself what it is doing to address the issue. Clearly, advocacy is important to press for resources, accountability, and support in combating crime. But there's much more that can be done to invest in communities to make them safer and create opportunities for the next generation to be prosperous. Looking ahead, we welcome the opportunity to increase our engagement with the private sector on these challenges because of the energy and innovation that they typically bring to the table. USAID is a learning agency, and we are constantly exploring how to improve our work and increase our impact. So as we streamline our programs and look for new strategic partners, we invite the private sector to partner with us as we both work towards the common goal of helping Jamaicans thrive.
There's this sense of a godlike syndrome that during some transactions an oversight body must lap its tail or virtually hold its corner in the name of investment. There are different roles for each stakeholder. Each must stay in their lane and accept criticism when constructively made. On the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, potential investors, in fact, should be happy that the business environment observes the rule of law and that democracy flourishes with built-in checks and balances. If I were an investor about to enter Jamaica, it's incumbent on me and my handlers to look out for red flags and indicators of the environment. I name a few on a list that is not exhaustive. 1, determine the role of the oversight body. It must be effective, efficient, fearless, and it must be respected. What, if any, comment does the oversight body have to say on a process or an investment opportunity that you wish to enter? The engagement, ladies and gentlemen, of investors and investor confidence, existing and thriving, must be viewed on a virtual 2-lane highway. That is a 2-way street with rules and guidelines being applicable. 2, does the police service support and protect local and non-Jamaican community members? Do they communicate with all persons? Are they accessible at all times? Maintain a presence that the visitor or citizen believes and recognizes that if they do wrong, they'll be detected. But lines of communication must always be in place. For too long in this blessed country, the notion exists that unless someone knows you and you not knowing them, nothing will happen. That needs to end. In a time of real emergency, the joke is told, unless you have on speed dial a member of the police force, the response time to a complaint is sometimes unacceptable. Another thing that I would think an investor would look for, there must be a criminal justice system that is efficient and effective, and we must congratulate the learned Chief Justice for the renaissance and the role of the DPP's office in the renaissance that is taking place now. But we must also have financial services, a banking system, healthcare facilities. They must be adequate, to name a few components. Importantly, ladies and gentlemen, on Jamaica's stock exchange record, Michael Reagan, writing in Bloomberg Business Week, January 18, 2019, states the Jamaican Stock Exchange is the world's best performing. Its outperformance over the past 5 years is even more striking. Jamaica's stocks have surged almost 300%, more than quadrupling the next best performing national benchmark and septupling the S&P Standard & Poor's 500's advance. I make bold to say that the very important successes must be highlighted, with all the negatives on crime and violence reported in the last 48 hours in Jamaica. Also, the awards in the tourism sector must also be celebrated. However, we must do better. Ladies and gentlemen, what are some of the solutions? Government agencies must work together all the time and set aside jealousies and petty matters which have no place in a professional setting. Interagency cooperation and collaboration must be emphasized and practiced. We must build bridges and stop tearing down, emasculating, and ridiculing persons. The fact that you do not agree is no reason to disrespect. Professionalism is non-negotiable. We must have a review of the timelines to review governance structures. Oftentimes, pieces of legislation give you 3 years to review a legislation. You see in 1 year, nothing is happening. The parliamentary caucus needs to do something about that. We must enhance whistleblowing regimes and encourage the discourse, changing the discourse to, in my words, informer for live. Stop saying informer for dead, informer for live. I must admit, I'm an informer. I'm a proud one. I'm an informer. Tell me something today, I'm going to tell the police tomorrow. We need to modernize the law enforcement units and bring outstanding laws into operation. We need public education to sensitize the world that the perception of corruption or actual is not a reflection of the overwhelming majority of law-abiding Jamaicans. We need to ensure that the police and our oversight bodies work to regain public trust. The police must maintain presence, not just in hotspots, but also generally. It will help to rebuild issues of insecurity. I pause here as I listen to Professor Clayton. In the last month, I visited Cayman. The police carry no guns. A year before, I went to Turks and Caicos. The police had no guns. I visited Grenada a few times. The police had no guns. They have their problems, but I felt safe. I am walking in this, my beloved country, and we're turning and looking behind us every minute. But our Caribbean neighbors, and Professor Clayton showed us the figures, I feel safe. We need to look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I reiterate that the government of Jamaica, the ministries, the departments, the statutory bodies, to name a few, must work united to create that package, that which is seen by the outside world, with all the various components and elements that they look at, and which they consider, and which will have the effect to harness growth and encourage investor confidence. But most importantly, we must leave our partners with the belief that integrity is non-negotiable. Honesty is paramount, not by word of mouth, but by our actions. And despite our problems, crime and corruption, that they can and humbly should consider investing in our country to bring about change for good. Acknowledging that the improvement of the basic standards of life may have the effect of changing behavior, but I readily admit we can't legislate for good behavior.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
In respect of what it takes to inspire confidence, I'm a plain speaker, and I will say, I believe that what is happening in our country, education is the key. I believe that a lot of our children, some of those who come from environments where they are victims of poor and dysfunctional parenting, we need to reintroduce civics in all its forms back within the schools from the time of the basic school, because there are a lot of our children. People complain that, okay, are the schools not doing enough? But they may go to school, the teachers try their best, and they go back into an environment that is like a black hole of nothingness, because there's no value system, no values, positive values and attitudes. And yet if you take that child and you put that child in another environment, you have intervention, positive intervention, you would be surprised to see the beautiful diamond coming from the rough. So I'm really a big believer in education. Now, another pet peeve of mine is that, and I prosecute police officers, I do not subscribe to the throwing the baby with the bathwater approach. Everybody knows their functions best. But I am not a public official who believes, unless it is necessary in the interests of justice, to make gratuitous comments in terms of seeking to tear down my colleagues anywhere. And I am not into using speculation to put out there to join the call for crucify him, crucify her in the public domain, where you have the court of public opinion demanding, just like the little old ladies who were knitting at the time in The Tale of Two Cities and saying for the noblemen, chop off their heads. I am not into that. At the Director of Public Prosecution's Office, we deal with two things: the law and evidence. Personal emotion, personalities, we are not into it. So even if the court of public opinion or any other opinion would like to see the guillotined head of an individual on a platter, if there is no evidence to prosecute, to mount a viable prosecution, then as a matter of law, we have to say so. And I will say, and it's the first time I'm saying it publicly, first time, and I say it with the greatest of respect, that this is why on occasion, when I've been asked privately, I have registered privately a concern when you have no firewall between agencies that both investigate and prosecute. Because if you are not careful, you run away in the court of public opinion, and the court of law has to catch up. And by the time it gets to court, after a lot of reputational damage has been done, when you look at it and the defense counsel gets up and says, they are putting the prosecution in limine to prove what is there, the judge asks, and when you pare away what is there, there's nothing there as a matter of law. So sometimes in the court of public opinion, the members of the public would want to see one thing, but both the police and I know that in the court of law, it's either you have to have cogent, credible, reliable, admissible evidence. If you don't have it, then no matter how egregious the conduct of an individual is, then you don't have a case. Then you have to look at the second layer in terms of governance and accountability. And this is where public opinion, civil society can force the government of the day to make sure that all the particular oversight agencies, that they have teeth, that they are well structured, and that the will, the political will is there to make sure that the teeth are not rickety in the oversight agencies, but they can stand up. In other words, if you put a piece of cane in the mouth of the teeth of that oversight agency, the teeth won't come out. It is the cane that will suffer damage.
Riveting perspectives and indeed sobering statistics coming from the AmCham empaneled team here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
On this episode of Wealth Magazine Business Access, Managing Director of Biz Tactics Limited, Sandra Glasgow, tells us about her educational pursuits.
So I don't regret the fact that I did a science degree because it's really molded the way that I think about problems.
Facilitating the growth of Jamaican businesses.
I get more satisfaction from helping people because there are hundreds of Jamaican businesses who have passed through my hands.
And being committed to nation building.
I just have a lot of passion for the stuff that I do and I love it. I'm Sandra Glasgow, Managing Director of Biz Tactics Limited. So I'm the first child, and everybody tells me I'm bossy because of that. You know, my parents were very young when they were married. My mother was 19 and my father was 20. When my mother was 20, I was born, and my other 3 siblings came in quick succession, 1 year after the other. So, and then my parents were divorced pretty early. I think my mother must have been like 26 when she was divorced, with 4 young children. So it was a difficult time growing up, but my mother, Irene, is a very determined woman. She, at one stage, had several jobs just to take care of us. And I think, you know, I'm very much like my mother, very determined, hardworking, very ambitious, but very caring about my family, and that's who my mother was. So I went to Vaz Prep School as a young child, and then when my parents were divorced, my mother couldn't afford to send me to Vaz, so we all went to Providence Primary School, which was in Ligonier at the time. It's now New Providence Primary. My mother in those days worked with the University of the West Indies, and we had a really good childhood. My father is from a very large family, the Walter clan from St. Mary. So I always had aunts and uncles to visit in the country. My grandfather owned a large farm, and we would have wonderful summers spending time with him and our aunts and uncles. So, you know, I was always very ambitious. And my siblings will tell you I sort of ruled with an iron hand because my mother was always busy at work. And I remember at 9, I used to go home and start cooking the dinner because we didn't have a helper. And I had to look after my siblings. So I learned very early how to take care of myself. I went to St. Hugh's High School. I got a scholarship from Providence Primary to St. Hugh's in 1967. And I enjoyed St. Hugh's very much. My 2 sisters, Denise and Claudia, also went there. My brother went to Jamaica College. And when I guess I was about 14, my now husband, my husband of 40 years in fact, came to live beside us in Mona. He was our next door neighbor, and we didn't actually have a fence between our homes. So, and we became fast friends. I was sort of introducing him to Kingston. He hadn't lived in Kingston before. And that blossomed into a relationship, and I was engaged when I was, I think I was 18 and a half years old. I was engaged to be married. And we got married when I was 20 in August 1976. So at St. Hugh's, I really enjoyed the sciences. And so in sixth form, I was doing biology, I think it was, and chemistry and physics. But I also enjoyed the languages. I was very good at French. I was French first-speaking champion for many years. And when I was at St. Hugh's in fourth form, they introduced a novel program where some of the girls could do some O-levels in fourth form. So I attempted 3 O-levels, and I was successful. So that allowed me space to take on another subject when I was in fifth form. And so I took up Spanish and did Spanish at O-level in 1 year. So I not only did the sciences, but I enjoyed the languages as well. So I actually left St. Hugh's at the end of lower 6 because my mother was the assistant registrar for student affairs at UWI. And I realized that with my O-levels, I could get into the N1 program in the Faculty of Natural Sciences. So that's what I did, and I pursued a Bachelor of Science degree and my majors are actually zoology, marine biology, and applied botany. Those were my majors. But my father had a group of companies. He was always in business, and he told me that he wanted me to come work with him. So I had a job as soon as I graduated. So I went to work with my dad as general manager for a company called MFV Limited Trading as Garden Foods. And we made and bottled Solomon Gundy, a hot sauce, a brown sauce, and pickles. And we exported those products to Trinidad and the rest of the Caribbean. It was a very interesting journey because having graduated from university, I had never done business. I had no business subjects on the, as part of my education. So I had to learn fast. I remember doing a marketing course at the Institute of Management and Production, and I essentially taught myself accounting. I took the accounting books and I went through them page by page and taught myself accounting. So working with my father was very interesting because I hadn't really grown up with him, and I really revered him. I loved him very much. So when he invited me to work with him, I was really excited about that. In fact, one of the areas that I specialize in now is family business governance. And a lot of the things that I do with my clients today are things that, mistakes that my father made in his business that I don't want anybody else to make. My father, I think, ran his businesses, in a very lifestyle manner. So the resources of the business would be used for his personal things, and he was a good Jamaican man, if you know what I mean. So, he and I sort of butted heads over some of those things. It was interesting because I was a general manager for this particular company, and he was the managing director. And I would give my staff instructions in the morning, and he would walk through the back door and give them instructions that were totally opposite to what I had told them. So it sometimes became quite testy between us. And after I spent 4 years with him, I said, I think this is it. I don't think that he really was ready to give up any control at all. And it was untenable for me to be running the company and not, sort of agreeing with him on how things should go. And that's a lesson that I have shared with a lot of my clients, because when you're starting, if you've started a business, at some point you have to get professional management in place. The founder can't run all of these businesses, and grow them successfully. And I would say to him, but Dad, I've gone to university, I've been trained, I know what I'm doing. And he would say, well, I went to the University of Life. So we parted company after 4 years, and I went on to do other things. I really tried to find a job after I left my dad, and I could not find a job. It was very difficult because I really wanted to go out to work.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
So there's a story I tell my students all the time, because after I left my dad, by this time I had 2 young children, 2 daughters, and my husband wanted me to stay home to look after them. And I had resisted that, all along. I didn't want to do that, but I really tried to find a job after I left my dad, and I could not find a job. So I said, okay, I'll stay home with the girls. And it was very difficult because I really wanted to go out to work. And I remember my husband giving me a stipend, and I lived on South Avenue, and I would go down to Lee's Fifth Avenue. I had spent the stipend one time, and I then didn't have any money to put gas in the car or do some of the other things I needed to do. And I remember once going to him and saying, well, I need some more money, and he gave me a lecture about money management. So I said, oh no. So I said, you know what, I have got to find a job because this isn't going to work. My neighbor worked with an international organization called ICA, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. And they were hosting a conference, and she needed somebody to address envelopes for 2 weeks. She was offering me a job, paying $250 a week, and my husband was giving me a stipend of $700 for the week. So I thought, well, $500 plus $700, I'm set, So I took the job, and I finished addressing the envelopes in 3 days. And I said to my boss, who was an American woman, what next? And she said, okay, help me with this aspect of the conference planning. And then I finished that, and she said, help me with this other thing. And soon enough, the conference came around, and they asked me to stay on to help them with the execution of the conference. And at the end of it, I got an offer to work as a national professional with ICA. I don't regret the fact that I did a science degree because it's really molded the way that I think about problems. I look at them very scientifically, in fact. I do the analysis, I come up with solutions. So I never regretted that I did the sciences, but I very much enjoyed business. When I worked with my dad, I just loved the idea that we were making products, that people were being employed, that we were exporting these products to other markets. And then when I transitioned into entrepreneurial education, I really loved sharing with other people and helping people to think about business in a different way. And when I spent 20 years at CAST / it later became UTech, and people would always say to me, why aren't you, if you're so passionate about business, why aren't you running your own business? And I would always say to them, listen, I get more satisfaction from helping people because there are hundreds of Jamaican businesses who have passed through my hands. So I started my company after I left the PSOJ in 2013, in May 2013, in fact. And when I left PSOJ, I decided I wasn't going to get another job. I thought I'd really had enough knowledge under my belt, and I was doing exciting things. I had done a number of things at PSOJ, particularly supporting SMEs. And so BizTactics really is, our tagline is supporting growth aspiring firms. And I do that through a number of interventions. One is corporate governance, because I believe that if a company doesn't have good governance, it's not going to grow effectively. So as I said earlier, I work with companies to set up their boards and to make, to bring in accountability and transparency and discipline. A number of small businesses don't have financial statements, they don't know where they are, they don't have strategic plans, so we work with companies to prepare their strategic plans. We help with the policies, the sort of operational framework that they need. And what I say to the companies that I work with, and most of them are really aspiring to become big businesses in the future. Some of them are hoping to list on the stock exchange. And I say to them, if you install these governance processes early, you will have the level of discipline and the accountability that will propel your company to growth. So that's what I do. I'm a trained trainer, so I'm trained in ethics for SMEs. I am knowledgeable about business incubation and acceleration, knowledgeable about angel investing. So I bring all of this knowledge base to bear in my work for BizTactics. One of my great desires is to see our economy grow. We've had so many years of economic stagnation. I mean, we're seeing the green shoots now. But I firmly believe that significant growth is only going to come through private sector endeavors. So, the more companies we have starting and growing, the more the economy is going to grow. More people are going to be employed. Those companies are going to pay more taxes. We're going to, create innovations, and we're going to put Jamaica on the map. I would say the last 30 years of my work has been towards this end. And so I have been doing a lot of work to look at the whole ecosystem for developing businesses in Jamaica. The DBJ is doing a great job, by the way, of pulling a number of the players together to make sure that whatever gaps exist are filled. And there are a number of things that I think we still need to do. Entrepreneurial education, I think, ought to start in the primary schools and be available in the secondary schools and at universities. I just have a lot of passion for the stuff that I do, and I love it. I love what I do. It's not hard to be motivated because I really love the work that I do.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
I'm in my home office at 4 o'clock most mornings. People will tell you that they get emails from me at 3:30 or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. That's how I work. And I get my best work done very early in the morning. But I just have a lot of passion for the stuff that I do, and I love it. I love what I do, so it's not hard to be motivated because I really love the work that I do. I tell people that I'm a covert feminist. And I really have always been helping my fellow female entrepreneurs and women in general to get ahead. This is, although we're described as a matriarchal society, men rule this economy, this country. So, one of the things I try to do is to get more women on boards, for example, because I think men and women bring different skills and attitudes to business. And I think a balance of genders is really important for business. So I wouldn't really say it's been a challenge or a problem, but, breaking that glass ceiling can sometimes be difficult. And, I have been in many situations where women are sort of stereotyped. That really gets me. My colleagues on the boards I sit on will tell you that. I'm not a stereotypical woman. I'm sort of not in the kitchen, although I like cooking. I'm a professional woman, so I really despise when men in particular try to put me in a box or try to keep me down. But it doesn't bother me really. I have done a lot of work with charities. I used to be on the board of Dress for Success Jamaica, and I really loved doing that. In 2010, when I was at the PSOJ, I worked very closely with Joe Matalon to start Youth, and I'm on the board of Youth now. It's actually been taken over by the ICD group, and I've done a lot of work. I've mentored the young people in the youth program, and I continue to support youth financially as well as giving them moral support. My daughter is actually the executive director of youth now, my daughter Alicia. I've also served on the board of Junior Achievement Jamaica, and I continue to support Alfie Mullins-Aiken in the work that she does with Junior Achievement. And I give to my church and the Cancer Society, but youth is really the main vehicle through which I do my philanthropy now. So for me, wealth is more than having money. I think having money is important because you want to live, and I enjoy living a certain lifestyle. But all of that would be nothing if I didn't have my family. I'm very, very, very family oriented. I've been married to the same guy for 40 years. And we have a wonderful relationship. We have 2 lovely daughters. Lorianne is head of marketing for Digicel in Trinidad. And my younger daughter, Alicia, is executive director for youth. And Alicia has gifted us with our first grandchild, Kai. Anybody who sees my WhatsApp profile will know that I'm a Nana, and Nana loves Kai. And I also have some very close friends. My closest friend is Ambassador Margaret Jobson, who is our ambassador in Germany. I met her when I went to Providence Primary, and we have been best of friends ever since. That was 1966. And I have other close friends, particularly girlfriends. We get together now and then. We celebrate each other's birthdays. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I would say I have a small number of real friends. And some of the people I work with, Joe Matalon is the chairman of my company, and he and his family are very, very dear to me. And my siblings. So I make time for all of those elements, those aspects of my life. I exercise, I should do more, but you know, exercise is important. I love to party. Give me 70s music and I will dance all night. You know, my friends will tell you that we love to go up into the hills and have picnics, and my husband and I have decided that we're going to try out every hotel in Jamaica. So we frequently, you know, go for weekends with the family, and I just have a really blessed life.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canasol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
My name is Christelle Harris. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
That allows young people in Jamaica to learn a skill and gain meaningful employment. It's called the Youth Upliftment Through Employment, YOUT.
YOUT is a non-profit organization that provides employability and life skills training for unattached youth. That's young people who are neither in an educational institution nor employed. and we provide them with life skills and employability training through a number of our programs. Youth targets young people between the ages of 16 to 29 from the inner city communities of Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine. There are a couple criteria that we try and meet. Those include, as I said, the age group cohort of 16 to 29. They would have to be unattached, meaning that they are not in an educational institution nor employed. And they would also have to come from one of the 33 communities that we target, which cut across Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine. The programs that we have, I think, have had a dramatic impact on the young people. I feel that we have had tremendous success in training young people and getting them ready for the world of work. I think that youth has, even through the recent acquisition of YOU, has kind of enhanced our ability to deliver additional value-added programs to the young people and provide them with not only skills training and employability, but also mentorship and support that will allow them to be successful, whether in the programs and in the world of work. Our flagship program is Youth Build. It's an 18-month program that we do in collaboration with the HeartTrust NTA and the National Housing Trust, as well as Jeep. Through the Youth Build program, we were able to place 100 young people in employment opportunities for 3 months. We also provide the young people with, as I said, life skills training, which gives them a little bit of knowledge about how it is that you're supposed to operate within the world of work. We found that the results have been tremendous. We've had a lot of stories coming out of the Youth Build program of young people who have had their lives changed through the program. And that's kind of what we're about, changing lives. We also have a program called Youth Lens Support that we partnered with eMedia Interactive, who are our training partners. That program was funded by Australian Aid. And what that program did was we trained 70 young people over a 2-year period in film production, pre-production, production, and post-production. And we also placed those young people in job opportunities. Business Access was one of the partners that provided us with placements, as well as Flow and a number of other companies. Youth Microwork is a program that trained 50 young people in how to access work online. It's really a partnership that came about through Digital Jam 2 years ago. And what it does is it allowed us to partner with a company called Crowdflower, which is based in the US, to provide access for the young people to work opportunities. We've also provided the young people with leadership training, and we're looking to soon have financial literacy training for all of those participants, so that they're not only able to make the money, but they're able to be more aware of how to best use the money that they're making online to better themselves. The program is funded by the Joan Duncan Foundation. We also have provided recently training in the use of a platform called FIFA through Internet Income Jamaica. And so we wanted to make sure basically that all these young people have a myriad of ways to access work opportunities so that they can be more successful.
Internet Income Jamaica working with youth, and we are just having a training here where we're teaching persons how they can make money online. So you know that we're having the economy issue where persons unable to find a job. So what we're doing is we're showing them how they can actually make money online through freelancing. So it's just basically working in exchange for money. So you don't have to be in a physical job to actually work. So we introduce them to this site where persons are looking for a person to do like data entry or transcription or video editing. So we just facilitate that. The thing is to set up your profile and to set it up properly. So that's what we actually teach, how to set it up properly.
I was informed that there was going to be a workshop or training for us, additional training. And I didn't know that it was Income Jamaica because I've heard about it and I'm psyched, especially because there are categories that are so broad and it encompasses everything that I can do. So I am willing and prepared to do my best and just enjoy this.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
Through youth, hundreds of young people are given the opportunity to recognize and develop their potential.
A lot of our young people today are out of work. Unemployment rate for youth is about triple the national average. And so young people need to find creative and productive ways to engage themselves and to be able to empower themselves to be active and productive citizens of the country. The MultiCare Foundation is actually a sister foundation, as I mentioned before. I have responsibility for both. And the MultiCare Foundation actually treats with a target market of 6 to 18 years old. And these are youngsters from vulnerable communities. And so 2016 will also mark increased and improved synergies between youth and the MultiCare Foundation, as well as our partnership with YOU. We have acquired YOU, and YOU now will extend its mentoring program to all the programs that are housed with youth. So that's MultiCare, Youth, YOU, Fight for Peace, and NEO. One of the things that I like to share with young people is they have to create a vision for themselves. That's the starting point. We are here, though, to help them to define a path for themselves. It's you know, even with people who are educated and have skills, work is hard to find out there. So we encourage our young people to get in touch with us, see if we have a program that's a good fit for you. What's your alternative?
Youth has a board of directors, a number of volunteers who have really been very helpful in getting us thus far. We have recently collaborated and are working towards a merger with the Multicare Foundation, which is an ICD foundation, and that the Multicare Foundation supports younger people from age 6 to 18. And so we're really looking at the gamut of the youth population, because youth unemployment is a serious problem in this country, and we want to make sure that our young people are employed, actively contributing to the society, and that will ensure that they are not involved in activities that might lead to crime and violence. So we also have some great plans. We have some programs which are soon to get underway. Youth is a program that started in 2010 to support at-risk youth in Kingston and the Kingston metropolitan area. The whole idea is really to get them engaged and employed and contributing to society, and we do that through a number of training programs that focus on areas in which these young people can make a contribution and get jobs, and also to improve their outlook on as citizens of the country, to share with them critical life skills that are going to make them employable and significant contributors to the development of the society. We're actually in the second phase of the program. Between 2010 and 2013, this was a program operated out of the private sector organization of Jamaica. Since that, the ICD group has adopted the program, and we are taking a slightly different approach to implementing the project or the program. It's not really a project, it's an ongoing program. We're trying to provide critical skills in areas of innovation. I mean, we are here at the Microwork Center. That is one of the areas that we're looking at. Really some non-traditional areas, but also some traditional skills areas that are certainly growing and that provide opportunities for employment. We really put a lot of focus on making sure that we work with our partners, people in the private sector, in non-governmental organizations, and in the public sector to adequately prepare these young people for jobs. And we do provide a placement service that follows on the training. Most of our programs have an element of internship. So while the young people are learning, they're also getting employment opportunities and learning how it is to be employed. Youth has been focusing on some critical areas, as I said earlier. One of them is construction. We have a program with the National Housing Trust that has been going very well for the last 3 years. That's called Youth Build. And we're just about finishing our second phase of Youth Build and hope to start a third phase. And that has been really very successful. We have managed to place a number of the participants, and some of them have, I should say, the Heart Trust is one of our key partners. They provide the training. And for those who participated in phase 1 and phase 2, we've had some really impressive results with some of those young people going on to do higher levels of certification at heart. We're very proud of that program. As you can see here, the young people are learning how to generate income, providing their skills and services on the internet, and that's a growing area of employment, and we're really working to equip our participants with the skills needed to be successful in this area.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
David, Raven, and Ricardo are all participants of the youth program. They are all interns at eMedia.
The youth program overall, it was a great experience, and I liked the whole thing. I learned a lot from it, and it helped me a lot to get myself in a job. I hear about the program from a close friend of mine who introduced me to it and told me to join the program as well. Everything changed because pretty much I liked the whole grasp of the fundamental and how youth program set up, where I learned video editing, you name it, the whole video production. So I started at the basic experience before I actually go on to the actual work. I'm working at eMedia Interactive Group Limited, and my role here is photographer. And I do video editing from time to time and graphic design. For youths out there, like who's probably thinking that it is hard to get a job out there now, you see, if you get the opportunity to actually come on board on the youth program, take very great interest of it and just do it at the best ability, and just be you, be yourself, and just be real as possible. What I want to say to youth is thanks a lot, because I learn a lot from them, and myself individually, and the world of work and how it's been experienced.
My name is Ricardo here. I took part in the Youth Line Support Program in 2014. It actually opened my eyes to a field that I've always been curious about. Before, I never really had much experience with it. But now it's like, whoa, there's so much to it. I love editing and I love filming. Just me and my friends just have crazy ideas. I would just shoot stuff, edit it, just for fun. Working here has been a wonderful experience. I have great co-workers. We have ups and downs, but it's a whole lot of fun. I get to go to meet a lot of people, exciting people, which have traveled all over the island.
I heard about the youth program from a friend. He told me about the program and asked me if I'm interested, and I said yes. So he gave my contact to some people, and I got a call, I believe the day after. Yeah, and right there and then I did an over-the-phone interview, and I was so lucky that I was approved to be a part of the youth program in 2014. At the youth program, I was mainly focusing on directing. I was a developing director. Yeah, so being through youth, we were split into a group of 5. My group, we were very excellent, but we have flaws, like a lot. So I stretched my arms out and did almost a bit of everything there. So I fell in love with the whole media thing, and now I want to pursue this as a career, so youth really helped me. Now I'm an intern at InMedia Interactive, and my career here is lighting, a gaffer for those professionals, and for those who might not know, I'm a lighting technician. So I do lighting on set, photography, videos, etc., whatever you need. My experience here at InMedia is very excellent. Since I've been here, I've learned a lot, meet new people, I've been to lots of places. It's been overwhelming. I really enjoyed it here. And I'm really thankful for Tyrone, who employed me here. For those at home probably not doing anything or isn't employed right now, there's a program out there that's called Youth. I'm a participant and I'm employed now, full-time. So I would advise you all to just get there, join the program, and be like me, achieve it, go for it.
It's going to be a very exciting year for youth. 2016 marks the beginning of our new employment opportunities for youth program in Jamaica. NEO is a program of the IDB, and we have a Jamaican alliance of a number of private, public sector and NGO interests at the table. The goal of that program is really to provide training opportunities, skills training opportunities for about 8,000 Jamaican youth, as well as an additional 2,000 youth will benefit from employment placement. So we're really excited about the program. It's a 3-year endeavor, and we're hoping really to make a mark in terms of employability and youth in Jamaica, to tackle unemployment. We are also joining forces, the Fight for Peace, which is a Brazilian organization that focuses on boxing and martial arts to engage young people in holistic development. They will be joining us at the youth offices. So we're looking to create a youth development hub where we are now with a number of international and local partners. So, we all have the common goal of youth development in Jamaica, and so we're looking strategically at working together to bolster our efforts.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killings. No more.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIF, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.